These notes are on parent functions. These are things you simply have to memorize. So we're going to learn them and go over them real fast. Today we're making tables, but after today you'll just know the points. So for almost all of them, you're going to put in the same x values, -2, -1, 0, 1, and 2. And then you've got to figure out what x equals what y equals when x is those different values. Well, if you plug in -2, y is still going to equal -2. So -1, 0, 1, and 2. These are the ordered pairs now that we're going to plot. So we're going to plot the point 2, 2. We're going to plot the point 1, 1. So on your graph, you can plot these 5 points. Oops. And this is your line. So this is a linear function. Okay, it's a linear function, and that is the equation. As we look at this, the domain is the set of x values. Domain, we read left to right. Well, as we go left to right, it includes all the values, so the domain is -infinity to infinity. The range are the y values. We're going to read that bottom to top. So as I go bottom to top, it's going to include all of the y values because it's never going to stop going up and never going to stop going down. So it's -infinity to infinity. Okay, on these notes, I'm going to ask about different key features just so we can review. Positive intervals is where it is above the x-axis, and negative intervals is where it's below the x-axis. So if we chop our graph in half, this section over here on the left, all of this in here is below, so that is negative. And as we read the intervals, we're going to read it on the x, and it keeps going off to the left, so it starts at -infinity and stops right here where x is 0. And it's a parentheses because at 0, it's not above or below the line. Okay, when that interval ends, another one begins, and from 0 on, all this over here, this is positive, so it starts where the other one ends at 0, and because they keep going on in this direction, it's infinity. So there's our two regions. The quadratic, that's the x squared. We're still going to plug in the same numbers. Okay, this is the name is quadratic, the equation is y equals x squared. Now we need to find the y value when x is -2, so I'm going to plug in -2. -2 squared means -2 times -2, which is +4. When I plug in -1, I'm going to get 1, 0, 1, and 4. Okay, when I plot these points, the graph looks like this. This is a parabola. Those are not straight lines, it's curved. Okay, my domain is from left to right. From left to right, all of these values are going to eventually get hit, so it's everything. So it's, oops, it's a bad infinity symbol. So it's -infinity to infinity. The range is bottom up, so nothing, nothing, nothing. It starts at 0. 0 is a point that's included, so it goes 0 to infinity. Increasing, decreasing, that is the roller coaster. Increasing, the roller coaster is going up. Decreasing, the roller coaster is going down. It's got nothing to do with the arrows on the graph. You're going to move left to right. As I move left to right, this section is going down, so that is decreasing. So this whole section of the graph is decreasing. You read it off the x-axis, so it's decreasing over here to the left, and it stops decreasing at 0. So it's from -infinity to 0. Now the 0 on the range should a bracket because that point was included. This 0, everything up to 0 is decreasing, but at 0 it changes directions. So at 0 it's neither going up or down. That's why it's a parentheses. Once you switch, now my roller coaster is going up, and so this side is increasing. So all of this is increasing. So it starts where the other one left off at 0, and it goes to infinity because I'm going to keep having values off to the right. Next one, cubic. Plug in the same points, -2, -1, 0, 1, and 2. When I plug in -2, I have -2 cubed, which means -2 times, oops, that's goofy looking sign, times -2 times -2. Negative times negative is +4. +4 times -2 is -8. When I plug in and have 3 -1s, I'm going to get -1. This is 0. This is going to be +1 because it's just 1 times 1 times 1. And this is going to be +8. Okay, remember, these videos are going fast. Pause it and get yourself caught up. You don't have to keep up with me on the video. Okay, so -2 to 8. I'm plotting these ordered pairs, these points. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I graphed them in the wrong spot. Ignore that. Those are right. -1, -1, -2, -8. I apologize. So your graph is going to look like that. Okay, domain. All the x values are going to be met and left and right, so it's everything. So the domain is -infinity to infinity. The range, it's going to go up and down. It's -infinity to infinity. Positive and negative, we're going to cut the graph in half. Anything that's below is negative. Anything that is above is positive. This range over here, it is negative from the left. Well, it keeps going to go negative, so it starts at -infinity. It changes and crosses the x-axis at 0, and then it becomes positive. The positive interval starts where the -1 ends, so it starts at 0 and goes to infinity. You will notice when you're looking at these different intervals, negative infinity can only be written on the left side, and positive infinity can only be written on the right side. Next one is a square root. It's also called a radical equation. So that is the name of it. This is your equation. This time you can't do the negatives because you can't plug in a negative number. So this time we're going to plug in 0. And 0 squared is 0. We're going to do 1. Square root of 1 is 1. Square root of 2 and 3 are decimals, so the next one I'm going to do is 4. Square root of 4 is 2. The next one that works is 9. Square root of 9 is 3. So this is the only one that has 4 points. All the other ones have 5. So now if we plot these points, our graph looks like this. Okay, domain is left and right. Well, over here to the left, we have nothing. The graph starts at 0. So the domain is 0, and it keeps going to the right to infinity. The range, down here we have nothing, but it starts at 0 and keeps going up to positive infinity. Okay, the radical equation, or the square root equation, is only in the top right section. It's nowhere else. This square root one, positive and negative. Well, positive and negative, we're chopping the graph in half. Below is negative, above is positive. So this one is only positive. It's only above. So it doesn't have a negative interval. The positive interval goes from 0 to infinity. Remember, anytime you're reading positive or negative or increasing or decreasing, you read the numbers off the x-axis. This range is the only time you're going to look at the y-axis. Everything else you're looking at the x. Last one, absolute value. Here you can have negatives. -2, -1, 0, 1, 2. The absolute value of a number is the distance from 0, so it's always positive. So the absolute value of -2 is +2. The absolute value of -1 is 1, 0. The absolute value of +1 is still 1 because distance is always positive, and 2. Okay, so we graph these points. Now, unlike the quadratic that was a parabola and curved, this is a V. These lines are straight. The domain, left and right, it's everything. So -infinity to infinity. The range, there's nothing down here, but it starts at 0, so it's 0 to infinity. The 0 is a bracket because that point is included. Increasing and decreasing, that's riding the roller coaster. From left to right, this is going down, this is decreasing. So this section is decreasing. So from -infinity to 0, it's decreasing. Then it turns a corner, and as we go from left to right, now it's going up. So this section is increasing. So it starts where the other one leaves off. So from 0 to infinity, it's increasing. Okay, real quick review on key features. Looking at this graph, domain. Domain, you're looking left to right. So as I look left to right, the left, there's an arrow, so it keeps going out this way, so that's -infinity, and it stops right over here at 9. There's a closed circle, so it's a bracket. The range, you're going from bottom to top. So the bottom value is negative 5, bracket, because it's a solid line, and it keeps going up, so it goes to infinity. X-intercepts. X-intercepts are where it crosses the x-axis. They're always going to be some number, comma, 0. So we have one here and one here. So one at negative 6, 0, and one at 5, 0. The y-intercepts are where it crosses the y-axis, so it's 0 some number. So we have one here at 0, negative 3. Okay. Positive and negative. Positive and negative, you're going to cut the graph in half. Anything that is above from here on is positive, and from here on is positive. There's two sections that are above, so you're going to have two intervals. One of the intervals, the left one, goes from negative infinity all the way, read it off the x, to negative 6. This one over here starts at 5 and goes to 9. Now that 9 is definitely above, and it's a closed one, so it's a bracket. These other ones are parentheses because they're on the line. When they're on the line, they're not above or below. We do have one section that's negative, and it's negative from negative 6 to 5. Last but not least, increasing or decreasing. As you move left to right, it doesn't matter what the arrows are doing. As you move left to right, here it is decreasing. This section over here is decreasing. So from negative infinity all the way to where it crosses the x at negative 4, it's decreasing. Then it turns directions and it goes up. This is increasing. So from negative 4 over, it's increasing. So it starts where the other one leaves at negative 4, but it stops. It stops increasing at 9. That's a parenthesis, though, because at 9, it's neither going up or down. 9 just indicates it's the end of your range. Okay, there are the notes for today.